Coming up tonight on News Watch, a preliminary report is released on a helicopter crash that killed 4 family members of an Illinois gubernatorial candidate. We'll tell you what the report reveals about the incident.
Also, the man accused of killing a Coles County board member and his wife is back in court. Ben?
A very pleasant start to the work week across East Central Illinois. Clear skies, beautiful fall colors still in effect. Now we're getting a big twist in the dial for our weather. Wind and rain is on its way, and the timing of that might be sooner than you think. This is News Watch, and your Monday evening edition starts now.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street. The Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection. Commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.
The National Transportation Safety Board is releasing more information on a helicopter crash that killed 4 members of gubernatorial candidate Darren Bailey's family. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Andrew Spade.
And I'm Olivia Bennett. That crash on October 22nd killed Bailey's son Zach, daughter-in-law Kelsey, and grandchildren Veda Rose and Samuel. An NTSB preliminary report says the helicopter took off with a small plane from a private ranch south of Ekalaka, Montana. It says the helicopter pilot told the plane pilot it planned to fly over the Chalk Buttes mountain range on the way to the Ekalaka airport. While flying over the mountains, the report says the plane lost sight of the helicopter and couldn't get in contact with anyone inside after a minute. According to the report, a witness says she saw the helicopter start to climb upward quickly over the buttes when something fell off the aircraft and the chopper descended out of sight. The report says the helicopter didn't explode or catch on fire. The NTSB says the debris was found across a large field but has been recovered for further examination. As the investigation continues, Bailey announced he plans to stay in the race for Illinois governor. The primary election is March 17th. A fatal house fire is reported in Robinson. That fire happened Saturday on South Pickford Street. The Robinson Fire Protection District says crews arrived on the scene to find heavy smoke and flames coming from the back of the house. They said the extreme heat prevented an early search of the home. Chief Riley Pierce says firefighters later discovered an unresponsive man inside. His name hasn't been released and a cause is under investigation. Robinson was also assisted by the Oblong Fire Department and Lamont Township Fire Protection District.
The man accused of causing a crash that killed a Charleston couple is back in court this afternoon. Edwin Pacheco Mesa of Honduras faces 7 charges, including reckless homicide, aggravated DUI, driving without a license, not driving on the right side of the road, and failure to reduce speed. The crash on October 24th killed 71-year-old Michael Clayton and his wife, 66-year-old Gail Clayton, and injured 2 others. Legal documents show Pacheco Mesa has pleaded not guilty, and a trial date is set for January 13th. He remains in jail. In Vandalia, prosecutors charge a 43-year-old man with the murder of a 14-year-old. As Megan Kernan reports, the teen was reported missing Friday morning.
What began as a missing person alert early Friday morning in Vandalia ended in tragedy. The Vandalia Police Department put out an alert for 14-year-old Kylie Toberman around 6:30 Friday morning. Later that afternoon, detectives found her body at the home on West Gallatin Street, where she lived with her adopted mother and 2 sisters. Kylie's biological mother, Megan Zeller, who's not ready to talk on camera, told me over the phone that her daughter was found in an RV behind the house where she says Kylie's step-uncle, 43-year-old Arnold Rivera Jr., lived. Friday afternoon, police took Rivera into custody and Illinois State Police took over the case. On Sunday, prosecutors charged him with first-degree murder, aggravated criminal sexual assault, and concealing a homicidal death. Rivera has a lengthy criminal past, including charges in 2000 for burglary and criminal sexual abuse of a child between the ages of 9 and 16. Prosecutors in Macon County dropped both charges in exchange for Rivera pleading guilty in a separate case to a separate felony charge. Kylie's mom said she did not deserve this. She was brilliant, sassy, loved animals, her sisters, and wrestling. Kylie attended Vandalia Junior High School and was on the wrestling team, recently voted Most Improved Wrestler. Illinois State Police are not releasing any further details about how she died, citing the active investigation. Zeller tells me the last few days have been unimaginable, and the family is focused on supporting Kylie's sisters and preparing for court.
In court this morning, Rivera was assigned a public defender and denied pretrial release. Another hearing is set for November 25th.
Good evening. Beautiful clear skies across East Central Illinois for your Monday. You see those fall colors fully in effect across Charleston. Now those leaves are finally starting to make their way to the ground, so those colors won't be on display for too much longer. Looking at our high temperatures today, up into the mid 50s across a lot of the area. 57 in Taylorville and for us in Charleston. Our warmest high for the day, 58 degrees down south in Effingham. Looking at these area conditions right now, we're starting to see clouds making their way into the area. We're still holding on to temperatures near 50 degrees in Charleston, 49 to be more specific right now, 46 degrees in Paris currently. Those winds are a little weaker right now, though they will start to strengthen during the night tonight. That's when we'll be expecting possible showers with that heavy rain. I'll have just how much rain we could expect coming up later tonight.
Thanks, Ben. Members of the Texas National Guard are expected to leave Chicago soon and return home. That's according to a report by CNN. About 200 troops arrived in the city about a month ago, and the Trump administration ordered the troops to Chicago to help with immigration enforcement and to protect federal workers. But a federal judge stopped the deployment, and the troops have stayed at training bases outside the city for several weeks. In another Midwestern state, officials come to a decision on whether or not to change its congressional map ahead of the 2026 elections. On Friday, Indiana State President Pro Tem Roderick Bray says his chamber will not meet to redraw congressional lines. The announcement comes after President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and others called on the state to update its maps and potentially add 2 more GOP seats to Congress. According to a statement, Bray says there isn't enough support to do so ahead of next year's midterm elections. Still in Indiana, where a lawmaker who opposed the president's push for that congressional redrawing is a victim of swatting. The Vigo County Sheriff's Office says deputies were sent to the home of State Senator Greg Good yesterday after they received an email telling them people inside were hurt. They say the call was a prank. Earlier that day, officials say President Donald Trump criticized Good and others for opposing a redistricting plan for Indiana. Good says the incident is reflective of the volatile nature of the current political climate. Officials say the incident is under investigation.
Civil rights leader Jesse Jackson is hospitalized. A family source says the 84-year-old was hospitalized last week for a neurodegenerative condition similar to Parkinson's disease. Jackson worked closely with Martin Luther King Jr. and rose to the national stage in the 1960s by advocating for racial equality, voter rights, and economic justice. The organization he founded, the Rainbow Push Coalition, says Jackson has dealt with these symptoms for more than a decade. The exact nature of his hospitalization isn't known, but the family says he's experienced a significant drop in blood pressure. We could be seeing price jumps at the post office next year. The Postal Service's Board of Governors says in a move to keep the agency competitive, they approved increases for Priority Mail Express, Ground Advantage, and Parcel Select. Priority Mail would rise by about 6.6%, and Ground Advantage would go up by 7.8%. USPS says the increases are reflecting market conditions and support its 10-year transformation plan. The organization says regular mailing services like the first-class stamp will not see price increases.
People traveling home for Thanksgiving have a new reason to be thankful. Airlines are resuming their normal schedules in the U.S. The FAA reports they are lifting flight restrictions that affected 40 airports during the government shutdown. A joint statement from the FAA and Transportation Secretary says reasons for these lifted restrictions are safety trends and the decline of staff shortages in air traffic control facilities. However, experts say that passengers should still check airline apps for delays or cancellations. Speaking of Thanksgiving travel, airports and roads are expected to be busier than ever next week. AAA predicts nearly 82 million people will travel at least 50 miles from home between Tuesday before Thanksgiving and December 1st. That's 1.6 million more travelers compared to last Thanksgiving and a new record. AAA says Florida is the most popular destination because of its weather, theme parks, and cruise ports.
Eastern Illinois University is unleashing a new high-tech tool for math and computer students. Newswatch's Alex Sittman shows how it's fetching attention and training students for the future.
Just the fact they can do so many gestures, I didn't think it'd do like wave or like roll over.
Someone new has joined Eastern Illinois University's Department of Math and Computer Science and has been receiving a lot of attention from people both in and outside the department.
So it gets the student excited and they want to learn, and we also can recruit more students to study and learn about the robotics and how we design them and how we build them.
That new addition isn't a student or professor. It's EIU's new robotic dog, who's been amazing just about everyone with its ability to talk,
I didn't chew this up at
do tricks, and walk around like a real dog. The robot can do many different moves, some activated by hand motions, such as stand up. The dog was developed by the company Unitree Robotics. Faculty say it gives students hands-on experience with coding, algorithms, and AI applications. It also helps the Math and Computer Science department connect with others.
Events like we're having today, the robot dog gets a lot of attention and eyes on it, and it's a very kind of tangible thing that people can see, where it's math, computer science, all coming together in action.
The dog is not only impressive to current EIU students, but prospective students too.
This wasn't like a department I was like interested in, because like I'm going into like forensics or something like that. So coming over here, I saw the robot dog and it kind of sparked my interest a little bit. I told my friend over here I wanted to maybe switch majors and play with the robot dog a little bit.
In Charleston, I'm Alex Sittman for WEIU Newswatch.
The robot dog has been used for classes in the Math and Computer Science department, as well as during summer STEM camps at Eastern. The dog software allows it to perceive its environment, maintain balance, and perform complex sequences. That technology is so advanced, people can have conversations with the robot dog. Time now to have a conversation with Ben Whitney, who's monitoring the weather and some possible rain this week.
Good evening, Ben.
Good evening, Andrew and Olivia. You're exactly right about those rain chances. As you can see here, rain is starting to make its way into east central Illinois. Now looking a little closer to home right now, this band of rain that's arching over a lot of the Midwest. A lot of the rain that's come so far has started to dry up as soon as it's reached our area. That's due to our drought situation we're under right now. We'll have more on that in just a moment in our forecast. But looking at these high temperatures today, very much hovering around average in east central Illinois. 57 for our high in Charleston today, as cold as 54 degrees in Champaign, but our warmest at 58 degrees was down to the south in Effingham. Now overnight tonight, we'll see lows a little bit warmer than what we've expected. 43 degrees for our overnight low. That's due in part to the clouds and the rain overhead. That's going to help to insulate some of that solar radiation we received during the day, make it a little bit warmer overnight. Those spotty showers will be with us, and winds will be intense, which is different from the intensity of the winds today. Winds coming from the southeast gusting up to 30 to 35 miles an hour at times. You can see that here on our model for future wind gusts. You see right now around 15 miles an hour as soon as we're finished up here tonight on Newswatch at 6 o'clock. As I roll this forward for you, we're going to be seeing a lot more heavier and stronger winds during the evening hours tonight. Around 1 a.m., some of these wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour in Taylorville. Now the strongest around Charleston is going to be around 7 a.m., so just around that sunrise tomorrow. 32 mile an hour wind gusts in Charleston coming from the south. Now, those winds will continue to come from the south and eventually shift and come from the north during the day tomorrow and gradually weaken throughout the day as the rest of that rain system moves out. And as you can see on our daily breakdown tomorrow, those winds coming from the north paired with the rainfall we'll receive tonight will actually lead us to a cooler daytime high tomorrow of 50 degrees in Charleston. We'll see mostly cloudy skies remain throughout the entire day tomorrow. We do have chances to see spotty showers throughout the daytime tomorrow as well. You can see all of that here on our futurecast right now. You can see mostly clear skies or mostly cloudy skies across east central Illinois right now. As this moves forward for you, around 10 o'clock is when we'll see the first wave of this rain moving through, predominantly hitting the western half of our viewing area. Charleston, areas around Charleston, we'll start to see the rain around 10, but particularly Decatur, Taylorville, and Shelbyville are going to be seeing the heaviest of the rainfall at that point. Around 11 o'clock, it's going to be hitting a lot of the viewing area and moving off to the east. Now, this is going to be coming in a couple of different waves, as you can see. This wave coming in around 4 a.m. tomorrow morning across a lot of the viewing area. It's very spotty showers, but it's very widespread and spotty. As you can see, we have many areas of that heavier rainfall rate, but it's very spread out across the area, very hit and miss, generally speaking. It'll be a little drier during the day tomorrow, but we do have one more chance for showers, and that'll be during our commute back home on Tuesday. See around 5 o'clock rainfall across the entire viewing area again. We'll see a cloudier sky to end our Tuesday, but that'll give way to a brighter and cooler day on Wednesday. Now, back to the drought monitor. We are still under a drought in East Central Illinois. Extreme drought for some of our northern communities in in Charleston rather, straddling around that severe to moderate drought. And because of how dry the ground and the atmosphere is, not all of the rain that we saw on that futurecast is actually going to be hitting the ground. As you can see on our rainfall projections right now, just shy of a quarter inch across a lot of the communities. And that's right around what we're expecting. 2/10 in Effingham and Charleston, around 1/10 of an inch in Paris and in Champaign. Now, looking forward, we are going to be seeing temperatures staying pretty consistent over the next week. We may straddle or just a few degrees above or below the average, but generally speaking, very average temperatures over the next 5 days. Now, looking towards the start of the weekend, we are going to see a little bit warmer temperatures with 57 degrees on Sunday and 54 degrees to start next work week, with a couple sunny days to present us for the weekend. But one thing's for sure, we do have a couple chances of rain, especially on Friday as well. So much needed rainfall to hopefully help with our drought.
Yeah, along with that rain, it's nice to know temperatures are really steadied out.
Yeah. I'm always happy when you say that the weather is going to be boring because I know there's nothing majorly upsetting happening. Thanks, Ben. Coming up tonight in sports, there were several shocking scores this weekend in the IHSA football quarterfinals, and we'll have a recap after this.
But first, the Chicago Bears play another game that comes down to the final play.
Thanks for watching. Your WEIU Sports Watch report is coming up next.
Your local source for health news, information, and advice is Being Well on WEIU. Featuring your local medical providers from trusted centers of health. Join us Tuesday evenings at 7 on WEIU for Being Well.
The college football season is coming to a close, but the Illinois football team still has 2 games left after this one against Maryland that wasn't even close. With time winding down in the first, Luke Altmaier looks for a guy, and he lays a perfectly placed pass to Hudson Clement, putting the Illini up 7-3. Right before the half, Maryland jumps offside, and Illinois has a free play, and it's none other than Clement who makes the snag and sets up this rushing touchdown from Caden Fagan, extending the Illini's lead. Now in the third quarter, you probably know what's going to happen here. Yep, and you guessed it, it's like Altmaier again to a wide open Clement. Illinois wins this one 24-6. Altmaier finishes the game with 172 yards of passing, while Clement only caught 3 passes, 2 of those being touchdowns. Altmaier says this game was won on all sides of the ball.
For them to hold them, really to have no touchdowns, like that's special. Like that's winning football. You know, in this league, you got to have it. All 3 phases got to play well, and they did today. They picked us up in a lot of scenarios, and grateful. Very, very grateful for those guys, their effort, their preparation. They balled out today from up front to the secondary. They did their job, and super, super special. So proud of them and happy.
The Fighting Illini improved to 7-3 on the season with a 4-3 record in the Big Ten. Up next, Illinois is on the road one final time this season against a struggling Wisconsin Badger squad. Eastern Illinois football is back in action, looking to end a 5-game losing streak as they face Lindenwood. The Panthers are unable to end their losing skid as they fall to Lindenwood 42-12. EIU can't stop the Lions' offense in the second half, allowing 21 points in just the fourth quarter. Despite the loss, senior wide receiver Darius Smith scores in back-to-back games and collects a team-high 48 receiving yards. Up next for the Panthers is a trip to Tuscaloosa for their last game of the season to face the number 10th ranked team in the nation, Alabama. The best local high school football teams are in action in the IHSA quarterfinals. Let's take a look. In Class 1A, Casey Westfield's season comes to an end after falling to an undefeated Calhoun squad. In 2A, Maroa Forsyth is maintaining its magic, winning a big win over Flora, while Arthur survives a 42-35 nail-biter against Westville to remain undefeated. In Class 3A, Tolona Unity stuns undefeated Williamsville to set up the semifinal matchup with their rival, St. Joseph Ogden. Finally, in 4A, Bree Central wins comfortably over Cahokia 36-12, and they'll play Rochester next. The Chicago Bears are red hot. They've won 6 out of their last 7 contests, but they face a brutal division test against J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings. Kyle Monangai's breakout rookie season continues as he bulldozes through the defense for his 3rd career touchdown to give Chicago the lead. McCarthy looks to tie it up, but this deep ball is picked off by Nashawn Wright, who had a pick 6 against him in Week 1. The Bears now lead 16-3, but the Vikings punch back as Jordan Mason rips through his secondary for a big-time score. And with less than a minute to go, the Minnesota Vikings complete the comeback as Jordan Addison does his best Randy Moss impression on this incredible catch. But just when it looks like Chicago has no chance, Devin Duvernay makes a phenomenal kick return, setting up Cairo Santos for a shot at the game winner. And as it goes up, it is in, and it just sneaks in as the Bears improve to 7-3, taking down the Vikings 17-16. We'll make our way to the court where the 14th-ranked U of I men's basketball team hosts mid-major juggernaut Colgate in the last of 4 consecutive home games to start the season. Tipping things off, Keaton Wagler starts up top. He moves inside and hits the spin move before finishing with the easy layup to go up on top. Andrei Stojakovic is a beast, and the Raiders defend hard, but it's useless as he muscles through to make the bucket. Moving to the second half, Colgate misses, but it's Illinois' David Mirkovic, and he's there. He's moving the rock, and he takes it all the way to the paint where he switches to his left hand to make the basket. Colgate puts up a fight, but Mirkovic finishes the Illini 84-65 win on a historic note, recording the program's first 20-point, 20-rebound game since Nick Witherspoon in 1972. Illinois remains undefeated and will face 8th-ranked Alabama in the United Center on Wednesday night. Now to Eastern Illinois basketball, where the Panthers take on the 9th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats. Eastern fails to pull off the upset, losing 99-53, marking the Panthers' 2nd straight loss. Eastern struggled grabbing rebounds in the game, losing the rebounding edge 49-17. On the plus side, Terry McMorris gets it done on both sides of the court, scoring a team-high 18 points and collecting 3 blocks. The Panthers return home to face Tiffin University on Wednesday, the first of a 2-game homestand. The Chicago Bulls are back in action against the Utah Jazz as Kobe White makes his season debut after dealing with a calf injury. Starting off in the 4th, it's a tie ball game, and this pass makes it down to Lauri Markkanen, who drains the 3 to take the lead. Now the Bulls take the lead back with this Josh Giddey floater, but Markkanen crashes in a three throw, and this game has headed to overtime. Now in OT, Markkanen is on fire, making this insane layup, and he looks like it can't be guarded in overtime. But with just 4 seconds left, Kobe White isn't ready to go home, tying this game up with a layup, and we're going into double overtime. It's tied with just double overtime with just a couple seconds left. But Keontae George finishes this game with a 3-ball, and the Jazz win this thriller 150-147. Finally tonight, the University of Illinois women's soccer team plays their first match of the NCAA tournament. The Illini fought hard but couldn't get it done on the road against Memphis, losing 2-1. Sydney Stevens is the goal scorer for Illinois, while forward Ai Kitagawa gets both points for the Tigers. Illinois finishes the season at 13-6-2. That's a wrap on sports. Olivia, back to you.
Thanks, Andrew. And now for our final story tonight. Excuse me. New York City is known for having the best bagels, but that title went to a different city this weekend at a national competition. About 24 businesses battled it out in this year's Bagel Fest competition at Citi Field in Queens. And the winner? Starship Bagel in Dallas, Texas. The business also won in 2023. 13 different states were represented at the contest, including one bagel place that traveled all the way from Honolulu to compete. And 3 other countries were represented: Canada, Denmark, and Spain. This is the 6th year they've held Bagel Fest, and the organizer says it just keeps getting bigger. Well, no big news in the weather department this week. Temperatures will near normal for a change, and Ben Whitney is back with a recap of the Skywatch forecast.
Nothing too surprising with the next week ahead, Olivia, but we do have a couple chances for some much needed rainfall, and that first chance of rain will begin to this evening. 43 degrees for our overnight low. Spotty showers will be overhead throughout the night tonight and throughout the day tomorrow. Winds will be intense mainly overnight tonight, gusting up to 30 miles an hour coming out of the southeast. Looking at the day tomorrow, though, we do have those chances of rain overhead again during the night or during the day. 50 degrees for our high, winds gradually shifting from the southeast to the north. That won't have any immediate impacts, but we will see a little bit of a cool down on Wednesday due to that. And looking at the rest of our week ahead, we'll see temperatures staying pretty consistent throughout the rest of this work week. 53 degrees on Thursday and 51 degrees on Friday. Friday brings with it our next best chance for showers. We'll continue to update that and monitor you every night here on Newswatch. 50 degrees to start our weekend, but warming up temperatures begin. 57 degrees on Sunday and 54 degrees on Monday. So temperatures staying pretty average for the next week, but a very nice weekend and start to next work week ahead. That's been a final look at your Skywatch forecast. Now back to the anchor desk.
Thanks, Ben. That's all the time we have for tonight's edition of Newswatch.
BBC News is coming up next in WEIU, and later tonight we'll recap Newswatch just before 10. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection. Commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.